So this is a training dummy, and this is us hitting the training dummy with our cosmic sword, which we are doing just over 14 points of damage to it every time that we do hit it, plus some additional burn damage. And to be honest with you,
that is nowhere near enough damage.
Because if I were to summon a bunch of these slime kings and then murder them with my cosmic sword, they do eventually go down, but just not quick enough. So we definitely need a lot more damage, which means we need to upgrade our sword to a nuclear sword, which means we need to make ourselves some nuclear machinery, which actually isn't really that difficult to make. We just require some cosmic steel, some nuclear fuel cells, and these onyx relics. The nuclear fuel cells are going to require uranium and toxic sludge, which we've got a few of them now, so let's start the process of making those. And while we wait on those fuel cells being made for us, I'm going to show off our new artifact, these vampire wings, which we got from a chest within a museum bundle, and these wings are going to give us a 30% chance to recover health whenever we kill an enemy. And seeing as we're probably going to kill a few enemies here today, then that definitely works for me. But we're now starting to get in the materials to make these nuclear machineries, so let's start the process of actually crafting them. And while we wait on those being crafted for us, we're going to very quickly head over here to the Skull Galaxy, then solve this rather tedious puzzle, which this should be the last item for it, and we are then rewarded with our blue chest, which inside it we just get a galaxy seal. We are still on the lookout for the last artifact that we're missing, and I was kind of hoping that we would get it from the Skull Galaxy there. Oh well, I'm sure we'll find it at some point. Anyway, moving on, and we now have everything that we require to make our nuclear sword, which is now done. Obtain nuclear tier gear, and this is going to give us 5 attack damage, and slain enemies may drop toxic sludge or uranium, which is probably a good perk to have. But really, all that I care about is how much damage this new sword is going to do. 14.75 points of damage. That definitely is not enough damage. But I do have another plan in mind, so to begin with, we just need to murder a few more of these slimy boys, just to get our hands on some more of these spirit orbs. And then with these orbs, we're going to make our way down through this chaos here, to this little island, covered in sheep and cows for some reason, but it's actually this shrine here that we're after, because this is going to allow us to choose a boon, such as Termination, where we will lose a heart piece, but we will gain some droids and some grenades, or we could go for Wrath, where we will lose a heart piece, but increase our max damage by 1. And these are the two boons that we're actually looking for, because both of them are going to increase our damage, either by gaining a droid to do our attacking for us, or by making us more self-sufficient by increasing our own damage. And I think though, just to be extra lazy, I'm going to prioritise Termination just to gain some extra droids, which we now have added to our nice collection of them, and I believe this has taken us up to 15 of them in total now. But of course, we've had to sacrifice a heart for doing that, which, you've guessed it, that's where the spirit orbs are going to come into use, because we can gain those hearts back just as easily. So let's see how many droids and how much damage that we can stack from all of these boons then. We're not always going to get the right choices here, so for this instance we'll just go for Challenge, which will summon some enemies for us to quickly murder. Very, very tough. But we will eventually come across the boons that we are after. And this boon here for Madness is interesting, which is going to instantly level us up 3 times. So that's then level 65 for us, which I believe is the maximum level that we can be. And with this sacrifice here, we will go with Wrath for some more damage, so we are now hitting 15 on the training dummy. And that number is really going to escalate quickly, just after a few more of these. And whenever we get ourselves down to a low amount of hearts, we'll just simply regain them back with ease. And I could also use these spirit orbs to increase our maximum damage here too, which I probably will do whenever I inevitably get bored of doing this. But seeing as I do have a lot of spirit orbs to go through, and this whole process is really going to take a while, I'll see you guys in the next scene where I will be stronger and we're going to have a lot more droids. Well, as promised, it has been a while later and we are certainly a lot stronger and we certainly have a lot more droids. So many droids in fact that it started to affect my FPS. So I've had to change my recording settings a bit, which hopefully won't affect the quality too much. But if you're not breaking something, are you really playing the game right? Anyway, I believe we started off with roughly 15 droids, and we are now up to 156 of them. So we are now tenfold on the droid front, and yep, no wonder I'm getting FPS issues. And our attack is now up to 144 per hit here. So, we also have a tenfold increase on our damage with it. But it has been a while since I moved around this place, so let's just take our droids around and just see the type of nonsense that they're going to get up to here. Yep, they're definitely going to clear out everything here for us pretty quickly. Let's head over to the graveyard biome and check it out. Yep, it's all looking great over here. Definitely all looking absolutely fantastic over here. Well, I think on the droid front, we can certainly say that we have increased our damage. I'm unsure if the increase of damage to myself is also reflected onto my droids here, and maybe the ballistas here too. So maybe everything in total here has increased in damage. Let's test the theory out by spawning in one Slime King. We'll maybe try that again, and again, and again. Well, I do have over 200 Slime King sigils, so let's maybe just start spawning a few of them in here and just seeing if they can maybe handle all of them. Which, so far, I think they're kind of handling it okay. Not really taking too much damage, and I think the Slime Kings are being killed pretty quickly. I think that damage output is a success then. And just like that, I now have over 700 spirit orbs. So if I really wanted to, I could do all of this over and over and over again for even more damage. But thanks to those Slime King kills there, we definitely have a few more legendary gems to make some more cosmic steel with. And I am going to very quickly make one of these skill sigils, as well as a beat sigil, and finally a toxic sigil. And while we wait on those being made for us, I'm just going to very quickly increase our max damage a bit more, which in turn I believe is going to increase our droid's maximum damage some more. Oh, having to do all of this clicking here. I wish there was an easier way to do all of this. But that's all of our sigils now made for us, so let's check our damage, which we are now up to 177 points. Let's maybe just get that up to a nice round 200, which I think this will do rather nicely. So let's see how our Skeleton King friend enjoys our new damage. Pretty sure he loved it there, so what about the Dark Beat? And what about our Rude Robot? Yep, I think they all definitely like our new damage. Well, now that we are a bit stronger, let's get into the Void and see how deep we can go. Defeat all enemies before the time runs out. Which I'm sure this is definitely going to be a challenge. Oh yes, definitely. That's us done already. Floor 2, we start with 2.5 minutes. Let's see how quickly we can do this. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that time. Well, let's just see if we can break a record of floor 20, which honestly, I think we're definitely going to smash that here. Because we are now on level 10, and I have yet to actually swing my sword. I personally have done 0 damage so far, and I absolutely love it. Even whenever the big guys spawn in, they are getting destroyed instantly here. But here's floor 15 for us, and it's pretty much the same story. All that I really need to worry about is just moving about and not getting stuck on corners. We're about to move on to floor 20, which is where all of these demons really start spawning in. And last time, this is kind of what got us killed, because they spawned in too many enemies here, and we didn't have enough time to kill them all. Although I can say that this time, that's definitely not the case. So level 21, the deepest that we've been, and we are certainly going to go a lot deeper than this today. We're on floor 24, and you may have just seen it, but we did have some slimy boys there, so we finally come across our bosses. Which does mean that we're now starting to get some legendary gems from down here as well. But we're on level 29 now, and we're starting to get some skeleton kings coming in. I have yet to still swing my sword down here, because there is just no need for me to do so whatsoever. And that is now level 30 that we're on, which we got an achievement for. But there's nothing too different about this floor to all of the others, so we'll keep going deeper. We're at the end of floor 31 at the moment, and we're already up to 112 of these legendary gems. I would love to see how many we end up with at level 50. The only real problem that I have is that these floors are starting to take a hell of a long time to complete. Yep, they are definitely taking a hell of a long time here to complete. We are now starting to get some dark beats on these floors here, so I need to be mindful of my health. But not too much, because our droids are able to get my health back pretty quickly here. All I really need to do is just worry about rolling out of the way and dodging some attacks. Eventually, I might need to actually start swinging my sword here, but for the moment, we're still going fine. Whenever the most difficult thing that I need to remember is just pressing the spacebar every so often. This is definitely a tough ride that I have. In fact, I can make this build even lazier because I seem to have a potion that just automatically lets me dodge attacks here, as well as having Thunder Arc off of me just to harm them. And we are now on level 41. Oh, I thought that was level 40 we were on. Well, I suppose that's what I get for not paying too much attention. Too busy having to press spacebar from time to time. But at the end of this floor here, we are now up to over 1000 of these legendary gems. Damn, that's going to be a lot of cosmic steel. As we do slowly approach level 50 here, I'm starting to wonder, do I have enough droids? Some of these floors are now taking nearly 30 seconds if not longer to complete, so I think we could definitely be doing with a few more droids. We're about to land on level 46, but what I'm going to do is just have the camera panned down, just so that you guys can see how many enemies that we start off with, and how many kind of spawn just as we go around the place here, as well as how quickly that number drops. Because on the surface overall, things are still just as chaotic. We've just hit level 50 here, so let's just speedrun our way through it and see what kind of goodies that we end up with just at the end of it. Everything is just a fast motion blur at times here, followed by some bullet hell. But that's this floor done here, and we do have our chest, which we're just getting the standard stuff out of it. But we are now up to over 2500 of these legendary gems, as well as an assortment of other goodies here. Well, we'll just see how far we can go down here, but all of the floors are starting to become quite repetitive. Just a lot of dodging that I should be doing, and just a lot of running around, trying not to get stuck on things. But I definitely think that we have proven a point here today with all of our damage, because thanks to it, we have now reached level 60. Which, as you can probably tell, is just the exact same story as the previous floors. And floor 70 here is again no exception, just a lot more enemies here to kill, as well as here on level 80. And unfortunately, I seem to have rolled and gotten stuck in this little corner here and cannot get myself free. Which is a real shame, because I believe this was floor 84 or 85. I'm just going to quickly save and exit to menu, and that might fix it. Well, unfortunately, it didn't, and I've now been kicked outside of the void. Although we did nearly end on 10,000 legendary gems out of all of that, so that's something at least. And as my frames start to deteriorate even further here, I'm pretty satisfied with today at least.